I'm Stephen, USSR Robinson, and you're watching Sport Icons. Papa!
Now, for those of you who's been with me for a little while, you'll know one of the subjects that I don't really touch on too much is pound for pound. Once in a blue moon, I may do something with a pound for pound, maybe once a year, once every 2 years. I may do something just for a little bit extra content, just to change it up a little bit. But pound for pound is not something that I like talking about because I don't really care about it. Really, I don't. I never have. There's no title involved. And pound for pound list, you could have 20 people do a pound for pound list, and you can pretty much guarantee every single one of them are going to have at least one change in them, one difference. You can pretty much guarantee it. Reason being is because most pound for pound lists, they are subjective, right? In other words, they're biased. Biased for tribalism, bias for whatever, platform-based, however, there's always going to be some kind of bias in them, okay? Now, pound for pound seems to be a subject that's been brought up over the last couple of days, which is, should Canelo Alvarez be pound for pound number one still? Should it be dropped out of even the top 5? I've seen a post from, say, Frank Warren, for example, saying, who's now the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, with a picture of Tyson Fury. You see, there's bias involved, okay? Now, Canelo Alvarez losing to Dimitri Bivol, does that mean he loses his number one position? Does it? But what about all the work that he's done beforehand? Does that count for nothing because he lost to Bivol? And for those who believe that it does, you don't know about Bivol. You never did. And this goes back to my point that I don't really like talking about pound for pound, and I don't take other people's lists as the truth. I don't. How many YouTubers out there could match even me, when it comes to breaking down resumes for at least 5 fighters in every single weight division? How many YouTubers out there can do that? I bet not many, maybe 2 or 3, maybe, at a push. We're talking just a minimum 5 fighters in each weight division. If you can't do that, you shouldn't be talking about pound for pound. Honestly, you shouldn't. Because your overview of a pound for pound, and again, I've said this once before, that most people's pound for pound list is based upon pay-per-view fighters. Based upon those who fight on TV on big networks. They know nothing about what's going on in Japan. They know nothing about what's going on in Mexico. They know nothing about what's going on in Taiwan, in Thailand, and all these other kind of places where you don't get to watch these fights week in, week out. So if you don't know about these fighters, even though some of them are world champions, if you don't know about them, if you can't even just break down the resume of the world champions, why are you talking about pound for pound? And this kind of goes hand in hand with the biases. So Canelo loses to Bivol, that means he loses his position. Now, personally, I never had a problem with people saying Terence Bud Crawford is pound for pound number one anyway, even before the Bivol fight. I never had a problem with that. Never did. Because he has a legitimate resume. He has a legitimate body of work. He's moved up in weight classes. He has. He's become an undisputed champion. But I'm seeing things on social media, and again, I don't know about here on YouTube because I don't watch that many YouTube channels, but on social media, I'm seeing a lot of Canelo is not even in their top 10 anymore because he lost to Bivol. When a lot of people were criticising Canelo for fighting Bivol because Bivol was just a Eurobum. Well, firstly, he's Russian. That means he's not fucking European. I mean, at least get the basics right. Russia is not Europe. It's not. Okay? Have a look at Bivol. Does he look European? He doesn't. Okay? But that's the kind of narrative that they'll go with. But these people don't know about Bivol. They don't. And because Bivol beat him, well, Canelo quite clearly is exposed. He's no good. He's a bum himself. Why do they say that? Well, because their own personal narratives with their own favourite fighters who are not getting the kind of credibility and the kind of praise and the money and the adulation of boxing fans that say Canelo would, their favourite fighters don't get that. They don't like that. They don't like that. Some of them, they will put on, say, Errol Spence Jr. up at the top end of a pound list. What are you talking about? He's only ever fought in one weight division. Listen, I could break down Errol Spence Jr.'s resume. Very, very easy. And I said this a year ago about Errol Spence Jr. The guy is moving backwards. He's moving backwards. He's stepping backwards. Ever since he fought Kell Brook, he stepped backwards each and every time. He has. And for those of you who are, say, Errol Spence Jr. fans, nothing wrong with that. He's a fantastic fighter. He's a very good fighter. I am actually a big fan of him. But he fought Kell Brook. Then what? Who else has he fought? Sean Porter. Okay. Kell Brook defeated Sean Porter. So that's a step backwards. He fought Ugas. Okay. Sean Porter defeated Ugas. He fought Danny Garcia. Sean Porter defeated him too. Do you see the trend? He's going backwards. Keeps on going backwards. He's not going forward, he's going backwards. Now, of course, yes, some of them, they were unification fights, but he doesn't have a Keith Thurman on his resume. He doesn't have a Terence Crawford on his resume, but yet you want to propel him right the way up there, even though he never moved out of the welterweight division. Interesting. You want to put Jamal Charlo on your top 10 pound for pound. Now, he is a two-weight world champion. Did he beat a champion to become the WBC middleweight world champion? Did he? No, he didn't. He got the belt in the mail, didn't he? Because Canelo got made franchise for whatever reason that is, right? But who's he defeated at middleweight? Who? Whoa, who? What, Derevchenko? Okay, Derevchenko who lost to Triple G. Or the Derevchenko who lost to Daniel Jacobs. Which Derevchenko are we talking about? Oh yeah, same one. Yeah, that one. That's his biggest win at middleweight. In fact, that's probably the biggest win of his career. Who's Charlo fighting next? What can you tell me? Majid Sulecki. Sulecki, yeah. So why is he a pound for pound fighter? David Benavidez. David Benavidez. What's his best win? Durrell? Yeah, maybe. Maybe Durrell. Who else? Can't really name anyone else, can you? Well, he's a two-time WBC super middleweight world champion. Yeah, and lost about twice. Not in the ring, but for his out-of-ring activities. Once on the scales. The other one for what? Putting stuff up his hooter, right? So why is he pound for pound fighter? Why? You see, people who come out with pound for pound list are those who have an agenda. Most PBC fans, should we call it, and there's nothing wrong with supporting the PBC. I've never said that there is, and I wish the PBC all the best, and I hope that they put on great fight after great fight after great fight night. But when you put on Gervonta Davis at the top end of a pound for pound list, why? Who's he beat? Leo Santa Cruz? Okay. A weight drain one maybe? He's a guy who only wins WBA regular world titles. This is a guy who gets put on pay-per-view for a Rolly Romero fight. This guy. What's Gervonta Davis done? Is he a legitimate world champion? Is he? Has he fought Lomachenko? Has he fought Devin Haney? Has he fought Ryan Garcia? Has he fought George Kambosos Jr.? Has he fought any of these guys? Has he? He hasn't even fought Luke Campbell. He hasn't. So why is he on pound for pound? You see, pound for pound lists are based on bias. And if you're a YouTube uploader out there, and I said it's probably only 2 or 3 that could probably do it. No, maybe 4 or 5, maybe, who could probably legitimately do it because they can go up and down the weight classes, because they can cut out their own biases. Now, for me, about pound for pound, I've consistently said no heavyweight should be on the pound for pound list unless they've fought at a lower weight class before. Like an Usyk, for example. He has become undisputed at cruiserweight. And now he's a unified heavyweight world champion. So legitimately, yes, maybe. But even then, I'm not too sure because he is currently heavyweight. Put Tyson Fury on the pound for pound list. Why? Put Anthony Joshua on the pound for pound list. Why? Now, as I said, pound for pound is subjective. Pound for pound, for the most part, is down to people and their biases. But we're in an era now where people will adjust their lists based on their own favourites. Oh, well, Canelo Alvarez lost a fight. Ooh, okay, he lost a fight. So therefore, he doesn't deserve to be in the top pound for pound. Right, okay. Anthony Joshua lost. Oh, well, he's garbage, they're exposing. He lost to a fat man called Ruiz. Okay. Tyson Fury's a fat man too, you know. So why is he good but Ruiz not? But at the same time, Joshua did defeat Ruiz in the rematch. Why is it people who hate on Joshua don't mention the fact that he defeated the man who beat him in the rematch? Why not? Do people hold the fact that Hasim Rahman or Oliver McCall knocked out Lennox Lewis? Do they hold that against Lennox Lewis? No. Do you know why? Because he avenged the defeats. What about the fact that he got a draw against Evander Holyfield? Do they hold that against him? No, because he beat him in the rematch. But Joshua don't get that credit himself. Yeah, but he lost to Usyk. Yeah, a fucking undisputed cruiserweight world champion. Come on. A southpaw with superb elite boxing skills. But Joshua's a bum. He's no good, right? Interesting. Dillian White's no good. He's a bum because he lost to Tyson Fury. Got knocked out by Tyson Fury. Okay, so what does that say about Tyson Fury then? Well, Tyson Fury ain't that good. And because Tyson Fury ain't that good and he beat Dillian White, okay, sure, if that's what you think. If you're saying Tyson Fury's no good, what are you talking about? Tyson Fury is probably the number one in the heavyweight division currently. Would you put money that you don't have on somebody defeating Tyson Fury? No, you never would. People say that I'm a big Dillian White fanboy. Yeah, I am. But I was always realistic. He was up against it against Tyson Fury. Very up against it. He wasn't the favourite. I openly said that. Pound for pound is absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. Could people even break down the resume of one of the most famous lower weight class fighters, Roman Gonzalez, Chocolatito? How many people who do pound for pound lists can even tell you 5 opponents that he's fought? 5. We're not talking about rematches, we're talking about 5 opponents. Can you name me 5 opponents that Chocolatito has fought? Could you? Could you talk to me about Quadras? Could you talk to me about many other fighters? Could you break down what's happening over there in Japan with certain fighters? Could you? Could you name me 5 fighters that Inoue fought? Just 5. If you can't do these basic things, then don't talk about pound for pound lists. This is my problem with pound for pound. This is my problem with happy-go-lucky boxing fans who say and claim that they know everything on social media, but really know sod all. Somebody takes a loss. Big deal. Big deal. What, you think Muhammad Ali was undefeated in his career? Do you think George Foreman was too? Do you think many fighters of the past were undefeated? Sugar Ray Leonard, was he undefeated? Floyd Mayweather was, sure. But Floyd Mayweather, again, phenomenal fighter. But did he fight the best of the best each and every time? No, he didn't. He waited on some people. He fought certain fighters at certain times. There's a reason for that. Very, very smart man. Very, very smart. Point is, please don't be talking about pound for pound. And especially don't be copying me in on them. Because your pound for pound list and your opinion on Canelo Alvarez losing one fight against a world champion, arguably the number one in the light heavyweight division, in my opinion, and I've said it many times that I believe Dmitry Bivol is the number one in the light heavyweight division. So he loses to him on points, didn't get bashed up like people claim. He didn't. It wasn't a one-sided schooling. I'm not saying that Bivol didn't win by quite a wide margin, because he did, but Canelo was active in the fight. He did throw punches. This is a small guy who went the distance with Bivol. This is a guy who is still undisputed super middleweight world champion. 4-division world champion. And what? we're just supposed to forget all that because he lost one fight? We're supposed to say Anthony Joshua is a bum, even though he's a two-time unified world heavyweight champion, even though the first time he became unified was he went around belt collecting. He didn't defeat one person to get all those belts. He didn't. He defeated champion after champion after champion. And one of them was vacant, of course, when he fought Klitschko. So one fighter takes a loss. Just throw him in the junkyard. Is that what we do? Again, if there are any YouTubers out there who are doing pound for pound lists, please question them. Question them. Ask them to break down the resume of at least 5 fighters in each weight class. If they can't do that, tell them they shouldn't be doing pound for pound lists because they quite clearly have no clue. Have no clue about it. So anyway, listen, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you on the next video.